Well, I'm delighted that you have chosen to join me for another week of Honey from the Word. Today's devotion is titled, What to Do When You Don't Understand. From the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 12 and 13, and then chapter 2, verses 1 through 20, which we will not be reading all of that. Just going to read verses 12 and 13 and refer to the other ones. Are you not from everlasting, O Lord my God, my Holy One? We shall not die, O Lord. You have appointed them for judgment, O Rock. You have marked them for correction. You are of purer eyes than to behold evil and cannot look on wickedness. Why do you look on those who deal treacherously and hold your tongue when the wicked devours a person more righteous than he? Habakkuk had been crying out to God to do something, to bring revival to his nation, to make things right. And it seemed like God had gone deaf and blind. He wasn't listening, it seemed, to Habakkuk's prayer, and he couldn't see what was going on. All of a sudden, it became a good news, bad news situation for Habakkuk. Good news, God finally answered Habakkuk's prayer. Bad news, not the way that he wanted. God told him he was going to raise up the most wicked nation on the planet, Babylon, to conquer Judah, to destroy it politically, and take the people captive. Habakkuk just thought times were tough. Now times were about to get a lot tougher. Habakkuk thought it over and he's not satisfied with God's answer. He doesn't understand why the Lord would answer him this way. This was not the answer Habakkuk was expecting. He's no longer doubting God because God has spoken, but now he's debating God and basically trying to convince God he has made the wrong decision. Habakkuk is confused as to God's plan. For if God is too pure and holy to look on wickedness with favor, how then can he possibly look on and allow the Chaldeans to come upon Judah for judgment? To Habakkuk, the facts just didn't add up. To Habakkuk, having the more wicked nation overtake and punish the less wicked nation just didn't make any sense at all. You see, life isn't always fair, and if you and I try to figure out everything that's going on and is this fair or that fair or does this make sense or not, you and I will just go crazy. You and I won't always be able to understand or explain why things are the way they are. Some things in life just don't add up. So God tells Habakkuk and us how to stand when we don't understand, when things just don't seem to make sense. First thing is we wait on God because he keeps his word. He does not doubt that God will answer. In fact, he fully expects that God will not only answer his complaint, but will also tell him how to answer others when he is challenged. I want you to notice that God is not threatened by honest questioning by us. He invites it. Habakkuk 2 and 1, I will stand my watch and set myself on the rampart and watch to see what he will say to me and what I will answer when I am corrected. When you can't find God in your situation, when you can't seem to hear God, when you don't understand what is going on, go up and look up. Get above your problem and wait for the one who can solve your problem. Habakkuk 2 and 3 says, For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. The problem with us isn't that we don't get answers from God. The problem is either we don't get them when we think we ought to have them, or when we do get them, we don't like the answer he gives us. Second of all, watch for God, because he will bring justice. Habakkuk doesn't wait long for God to tell him what the answer is to his problem. Yes, I am just and I do what is right, but I'm going to use a more wicked nation to punish a less wicked nation. If you want to get through tough times, don't lose your focus. If you aren't careful, we can get so focused on wanting God to judge the evil in the world that we forget to trust Him and let Him take care of it all. He has a way of balancing things out in life. God wasn't going to let the Babylonians get away with anything. God said to Habakkuk, quit worrying. It's not a matter of whether I will judge, but it is a matter of when I will judge. Don't you understand? But it's a matter of what don't you understand? I judge sin everywhere. I don't play favorites. Nobody gets a free pass, whether it's the Babylonians or my own people. 56 years later, the Medo-Persian Empire came along and completely destroyed and wiped out the entire nation of Babylon. God judged the Jews. God judged the Babylonians. One of these days, God will judge us and you, me and you, unless you come to know His Son, Jesus Christ. Let me bring this a little closer home. Has someone treated you wrongly? Has someone done things to you that you believe they should be judged for, but for the moment it seems like everything is going great for them? Just be patient. God will balance the books one day. Just because He didn't judge them immediately doesn't mean He won't judge them. He works on His timeline, not ours. Worship God because He's in control. Verse 20, but the Lord is in His holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before Him. The Lord is in His holy temple. God is ruling. God sees all that's happening. God is reigning over the earth. Let all the earth keep silent before Him. God is ready to respond to the needs of His people. Be silent and watch God at work. And all of our questioning and all of our perplexity, there comes a time when we need to be silent before the Lord Almighty, before God Almighty. Let God be God and know that you are His creation. The God who made heaven and earth and every being in it has a throne of dominion over every part and parcel of this universe. From His holy temple, God is calling the shots. God is seeing to it that every piece of the puzzle is falling in place. The bottom line is, when times are the toughest and days are the darkest, the only thing that will matter in your life is that God is in His holy temple, and you are to trust Him no matter what. See, there's one thing that never changes. It doesn't change when there is an attack on Pearl Harbor. It didn't change when there was a Great Depression crash on Wall Street. It didn't change when planes flew into the World Trade Center. It didn't change when you experienced that difficult thing in your life. The Lord is in His holy temple. He is and always has been in complete control. If you ever wonder sometimes where all history is headed, or our world is headed, or you and I are headed, it's summed up in verse 14. For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. When it seems like the bad guys are winning and the good guys are losing, and you think all the goodness has been for nothing, you watch for God. He will bring justice. When you think all hope is lost and there's no way out, you just need to worship God because He's in control. Every one of those things is proven at the cross of Christ, and they will prove true in your life as well. Trust and believe in God. May the Lord bless you this week.